last season. He won the Fred Winter Hurdle when things didn't go his way. He won the Fishery Lane Hurdle at the start of this season, a race that can be a good pointer to the future. He beat Fieldor in that, and then he was beaten in a match.
Over 2 miles in the Killashee Hotel Handicap Hurdle, 9 flights to jump. It is Telecon prominent within the blue cap, One Last Tango. On the outside is Cashback, followed by Captain's Nephew in the top weight, Feasted Dairy. As they stream up in front of us, Man of Work next, and on the inside is Pat Doro. It's Telecon headed by Cashback, Feasted Dairy in third. A couple of lengths to One Last Tango, and then Captain's Nephew and Pat Doro and Man of Work next with Merlin Giant and Lucky Max and Bialystok. Hey Johnny on the inside of last year's third tax from Max. And they're followed by Brazil in the white cap. Alongside is Tekao. And on the inside as they go to the second flight is Glon, followed by Grand War, Annexation, and Watch the Weather is the back marker. Heading up to the highest point of the course, and it's Cashback in front by just over 2 lengths to Telecon and Feasted Dairy in third, and fourth is One Last Tango, disputing the fifth, Pat Doro and Captain's Nephew, and then Merlin Giant and Man of Work and Lucky Max next. On the inside is Hey Johnny, flight number 3, and spacing out this field is Cashback, followed by Telecon, Feasted Dairy in third. Breaking the field then to One Last Tango, Pat Doro and Captain's Nephew next with Merlin Giant and Lucky Max and Man of Work and Hey Johnny and Bialystok and Tax for Max and Annexation next on the outside, followed by Glon and Tekao, Brazil, Grand One, Watch the Weather remains the back marker as they go to flight number 4, taking them into the back straight. Cashback up and over from Telecon, and third is Feasted Dairy. These 3 break clear of in 4th place One Last Tango, and then Captain's Nephew and Pat Doro next with Merlin Giant. Lucky Max is on the outside of Man of Work, and then Bialystok and Annexation and Hey Johnny and Tax for Max and Grand War, being followed by Glon on the inside of Tekao, with the final couple Brazil and Watch the Weather. 5 to jump, the field continues well strung out. Cashback shows just over 2 lengths cleared of Telecon. In 3rd place is Feasted Dairy, the top weight well cleared of the 4th running One Last Tango. And then Captain's Nephew on the inside, Pat Doro with Lucky Max and Man of Work and Merlin Giant next with Bialystok and Annexation and Hey Johnny and Tax for Max on the inside of Tekao. And then Grand War, Watch the Weather next on the outside of Brazil. The 4th last flight, the end of the back straight. Cashback over from Telecon, who's now almost on terms, and 3rd is Feasted Dairy, followed then by One Last Tango. Very few changes up front, and then Captain's Nephew and Pat Doro next with Man of Work and Lucky Max. Merlin Giant on the inside of Bialystok, then Annexation and Hey Johnny and Tax for Max next with Tekao. Grand War has 3 behind. Glon, Watch the Weather in Brazil. Less than 5 furlongs to go and 3 flights to jump. Cashback has just been headed by Telecon, as these 2 poach a lead over Feasted Dairy. And then One Last Tango and Captain's Nephew next. They head for the second last. And it's Telecon moving on in front. Ridden along second, Cashback, then Feasted Dairy. Captain's Nephew has made a bit of ground on the outside of One Last Tango, followed by Pat Doro, heading for the home turn, with 1 flight left to jump, and it's Telecon into the straight. 3, 4 clear of Feasted Dairy, challenged for the second by Captain's Nephew. Then Pat Doro. Bialystok is closing the pale pink colours on the inside of Man of Work, and then comes Tekao. Round the bend for the final flight, and it's Telecon chased by Captain's Nephew on the outside of Feasted Dairy. And closing still is Bialystok, along with stable companion Tax for Max. They're followed by Pat Doro and Tekao next with Man of Work and Annexation, and it's Bialystok coming there strongly, one off the rail to hard press Telecon, then Tax for Max. Staying on in the middle of the track is Tekao, then Feasted Dairy and Captain's Nephew, and it is Bialystok and Danny Mullins in front by 2.5 lengths as they go towards the line. Confidently ridden, Bialystok beats stable companion Tax for Max. Staying on in the third was Tekao. Telecon folded to 4th.
It's a 1-2-3 for Willie Mullins. Don't think that'll be the last time I say that this week. Bialystok at 14 to 1 has led home a clean sweep for the champion trainer here, under a confident ride from Danny Mullins. Tax for Max has run well in second, and Tekao, who had a lot to do from where he was back in the field, has come through to finish third despite a blunder at the last. Fairyhouse winner Telecon gave it a good go from the front, Dom, but he looked a sitting duck as we joined them here.
He did, yeah. Look, it looked like they went a really fast pace. Gary Cashback took them along early. Telecon was always prominent. Feast to Dairy, he's run well as well. He's kept on to finish 5th, I think, in the end. But you were looking in behind to see where the closers were coming from, because it looked like they went so fast that it was going to be a closers race. And Bialystok, he's travelled into the race really well on the inside for Danny Mullins. And just a wee flash at the tail there, close home, but he's done it nicely. He was a good winner at an ace last time from the company Sergeant, who ran well in the Grade 2 race at Fairyhouse to finish 2nd behind Nick Rocket, a stable companion of the winner. And yeah, Bialystok, you just see him, he's well back in the field there, but Danny Mullins isn't panicking. He probably knows they've gone very fast up front.
Yeah, he's just in front of the second, actually, Tax for Max, and the eventual third, Tekao, even further back. He's only got a couple behind, really, at this point as they come to the end of the back straight. Telecon dead to take the measure of the long-time leader, Cashback. He'd always just been kind of running a little bit with the choke out that Telecon done, hadn't he? Even though he managed to sit in behind one at least.
Yeah, no, and that's his way of running, Gary. He ran over 2.5 miles at Bialystok during the summer when he just was too keen in the race that Lieutenant Highway won. Then he went to Fairyhouse, dropped in trip after a long break and ran out a good winner. He was well back that day, but he ran out a good winner, and he's running another big race today. Like he's one of those horses who was handy, and as you said, the first 3 have come from well back in the field, so he's done well to keep on as well as he did. And Feast to Dairies, he's run well as well from a prominent position.